Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. I'm just going to get this cultivator hooked up onto the tractor and we will start it working in the field just here, the field that had the oats in. And once we've got that one underway and we've got the hired help doing stuff in there, then we will grab the fertilizer spinner and we will get to work running the fertilizer spinner. I'm going to bring this one up here. We're going to go right around the edge of the field down over to that side, and then we'll go back round and then we'll let the hired help carry on, I think. Twice on the outside edges should be enough. We've got a nice straight edge down here so we can let the hired help work that bit. We should be able to, if everything goes well. So we'll lower you down here, and we will get started. So yeah, if we can get this one underway, and then we can get the fertilizer going after this, that way this one should be done before nightfall. The fertilizer should also mostly be done by nightfall. And we can get our new planter back here that we're going to need to be able to plant the corn in these fields right here. And then once we've done that, that'll be tomorrow morning. We'll be able to hook the planter onto this tractor and we'll be able to get started with the actual planting in these fields, which shouldn't take all that long. It is one thing that we'll have to slow the time down for again. And after the planting, well, the planting, I think, will also put fertilizer onto the field as well. So we'll have all the fertilizer on the field that we need. And the only thing that we're going to need to be able to do after that is throw a little bit of herbicide on. That's easy. We can do that. We can very, very quickly add a little bit of herbicide onto the field. That's not going to take us very long. We'll try to do it after the herbs. I was going to say after the herbs have come through. No, we'll try to do it after the weeds have come through. I mean, no, technically they are herbs, aren't they? We will try to do it after the weeds have come through, and then we can just like leave the hired help to do most of the spraying. We do once around the edge like we normally do, and then the hired help can go and do the rest while we're busy doing other jobs. But we'll worry about that. That's only a small job. We don't really need to concern ourselves with it very much. We do want to focus on getting the rest of that timber cut. We've got that chunk of timber that's left. We'll get that cut, and then we will have our various vehicles ready to be sold and make us a vast pile of money. We'll also need to just go through with the stump grinder quickly as well and make sure that we clear everything out of the way so that we can put down our new animal pens. We've got one cattle pen and one pig pen to buy. And then after that, it's just a matter of buying in the animals. That's the only thing that we've got left to do, really. Like, when I started this series, I did actually picture us going for a bigger combine and having to have a larger area of land. I sort of thought that we'd end up buying that area and clearing a huge amount more trees, as well as, like, we have done all of the hill up there. I got to say, I am reasonably impressed that we managed to do all of that. That is a lot of land that we've cleared up there. So I'm reasonably impressed with how much we have done. So we'll have, but I did think that we would have a lot more than that. I thought we'd end up with like having to do double this in order to be able to feed the animals. I don't think we will. I suspect that what we've got is enough to just carry on with right now. I'm also thinking that I don't necessarily need to go back round and do another round with the cultivator. I'm going to do it anyway. I am going to go and do a double pass on the edges all the way around just to make sure, especially by the big stone up there. That'll just ensure that we can go right up to the edge and turn around, and we're not going to have to go and do any tidying up of the job afterwards. It's getting those trees out of the way. I was asking you last week about the safeguards on those tree harvesters, and apparently there aren't that many safeguards. It's entirely possible for an operator who... I was talking about willful stupidity and people deliberately setting out to try to hurt themselves. Apparently it is possible to do that in Tree Harvester, although, let's be honest, it's unlikely that anybody that has got that level of stupidity is likely to get their hands on a machine like a Tree Harvester, because training will have filtered out most of them. So, yeah, but you still got situations where accidents can happen and things can go wrong with them, but there isn't that many safeguards. I mean, safeguards could be built into them in theory, with cutoff switches and pressure sensor points on the windscreens and so on like that. But generally, there aren't any. It's, you know, good operator good operator skill and good operating procedures are what are relied upon to stop people from getting badly hurt operating those machines. And I guess that's fair enough. Like I said, you're not likely to have someone who's too daft running one of those. I'm just going back there because there was a little tiny bit that we missed on that side. But yeah, it's, from what people were saying, it is a problem that I heard some stories about real willful stupidity from people that worked in like health and safety inspections and things like that. And quite frankly, some of the stuff that I've been told is horrifying. Doesn't surprise me. I'll be honest, it doesn't surprise me, but it's still horrifying nonetheless. I don't know what's worse, the fact that it doesn't surprise me at all, or just how bad it really is. And it really does sort of make you lose faith in the human race a little bit sometimes, doesn't it? You hear some of these stories of things that people do. But then, of course, you do have the ones that are on the other side of the coin who are trying to stop this from happening. And, yeah, you know, it does sometimes feel like some of these people are fighting a losing battle. They're really not, though. They're really not. Like, it's quite amazing the things that we are able to do without actually everybody killing themselves. And that there are plenty of people who are not out to do this. It's just that those are the ones that grab your attention. That's the sort of stories that grab your attention. I'm just going to follow this one down the field here. We've got the hired help helping us along. I am just going to follow him down across the field, make sure that he turns the correct way once we get down to the bottom end, and then we can get the fertilizer spinner going around the outside of the grass field. We will do once around. I'll also do once around the big stone in the middle, then I'll reload the fertilizer, take it up the top, and let it go. Can do all of itself then. And we can jump over onto the tree harvester and do a little bit on there. Right, you've come down over to here. Please turn the right way. You are indeed turning the correct way. Right, that's good. That's good. We won't take you yet. We will go to... Yeah, we've got lots of machines that we need to put away. I'm going to go straight on with this one. Straight on with the fertilizer. We've got cultivating is now underway in the field down there. We've got patches of grass here. I will try to do a better job. Well, actually, on our next harvest, we're going to be making hay, aren't we? So, our next harvest, we will actually do a better job of cutting the grass, because we're going to be setting hired help doing a lot of it. But we'll do a couple passes around the outside first, and we're going to have to make sure that we've cut all of the grass. Right, we're going to have to make sure that we've cut all of it so that we can then go over and we can do the turning, and then we can go after that and do the raking and the baling we've got to do manually, but the rest of it will all be done with hired help, or for the most part. Yes, I am going to be going around the outside of the big stone. Couple passes, I'm not quite sure how many. This one here, I'm going to do one pass around the outside of the big stone. I'll do it from here, actually, I think. Just, we'll get down to the bottom of this dip here, and then we'll do it from there. Remember I was talking about this dip here? How it sort of forms a natural hollow, and so the water would just sit and turn into mud. It's amazing how many... I still remember now, like, the number of people that said... how frequent such an occurrence is on their land. Like, there's a lot of people said that they've got such a thing on their land. A lot of farmers who watch this series, or ex-farmers, even farm labourers, anybody that's in agriculture has said they've got bits like that on their land, and it's absolutely horrific to deal with, because, you know, there is nothing like a boggy, and it goes boggy, it goes proper boggy. And there's nothing like a bit of land like that to get your machine stuck. You think your field's dry, and then you hit that boggy patch, and no. Your fields aren't dry. Your fields aren't even close to being dry. Your fields have got a long, long way to go before they reach the dry point, and yeah, it's just not happening. It's just not going to happen. There is no dry whatsoever. It is absolutely soaking wet, and down you go, axle deep into the mud. Which I can well understand. I can well understand that. You look at that dip in there. Where's that water going to go? It has literally got nowhere to go at all, apart from just sitting there, right? You're waiting on evaporation. So the rest of it is all drained off and dried out, whereas here you've still got 2,000 litres of water that is soaked into the ground just below the surface, just enough to make sure that it is properly soft and muddy, and you can bid farewell to your tractor. If you've got another one, you may be able to pull your tractor out, but yeah, that's about what it is with those little situations on there. And I still think about that when I go through, because I've like seen plenty of muddy places like that. Not very many dips like that. Like where I work, they seem to be few and far between. I don't know if I said that I wasn't actually aware of any. I think, really thinking about it, I can think of one place on a farm that I've worked that had a big natural dip like that. Most of them is the areas that I've worked. A lot of it has been moorland, and moorland is different with our peat bogs and stuff that we've got scattered all over the place. The bogs seem to work a little bit differently to those small natural dips. I mean, you have areas that never dry out. There's natural springs below the surface. No water running out of the bog, but it's enough to keep the ground wet that you cannot get on there. You never get on there with a machine, right? It just doesn't happen. And there's other areas where they will dry out, but the difference between dry and soaking wet is not so easy to tell by eye. Right, unless you actually have spent several years dealing with that kind of land, you cannot just look at it and identify by eye whether or not it is dry or otherwise. And I know people who've spent, you know, they're in their 50s and have spent their entire life living on moorland and are still fooled by it occasionally. That, you know, looking at it and thinking, oh, that does actually look fairly dry. No. Definitely wasn't dry. And these are people who've spent their entire lives living on the moors, and if anybody is going to know dry land from wet land, it will be them when it comes to the boggy areas, and they still get fooled by it. So yeah, moorland does seem to be a little bit different, and this is something that I've noticed with people that come on holiday to the areas that I live. I don't live on the moors anymore, but I live close enough that it's only a very, very short drive and I can get to the moors. But the amazing thing about it is the number of people that go on holiday to a moorland area, and once they get there, they treat it the same as any other place and are so easily fooled by the lie of the land and just how it looks compared to how it should look with everything else that they're used to. And it's what everybody is used to. You go to the moorland areas and you look at it and you're assessing it based on what you know, and then 3 steps later they are up to their waist in mud with absolutely no clue that it was there. And I can look at those areas and I can immediately see, well, that's soaking wet. There's no way I'm going to be stepping into that bit. And I've been able to do that for a very, very, since I was a boy. It's a very, very long time ago now. But yeah, it's quite remarkable. Like, you really do start to learn to decipher and interpret the land that you live on. And it's so easy to decipher and interpret the land that you're used to, but when you go and try to apply those same rules to land that you're not used to, it's a whole different kettle of fish. It's completely 100% different, and you've got no hope whatsoever. And I mean, for most of it, anyone that has spent a lot of time on land and is familiar with, you know, what different things should look like, how different things should appear, and so on, you're not really going to run into any trouble. But moorland does seem to be something that does fool a lot more people, and this is quite a remarkable thing to me, like that there is genuinely a lot more confusion with moorland than there seems to be with any other type of land, at least in my experience. And my experience is based largely around moors, so for me it's a lot different. That's where I've seen people coming in from outside and misinterpreting different things, different signs, and oops, okay, that actually is mud. I didn't think it was kind of situation. I've heard reports of people making similar mistakes with very, very sandy areas, especially like coastline areas where there's a lot of sand, and misinterpreting the sand and going into like really soft patches, driving cars into soft sand is something that happens all the time with let me just drop that down there a little bit. Driving cars into soft sand is something that happens all the time for people on the coast. It is a very, very regular sight that people see on the coast, and I imagine it provides no end of amusement for you. Now, I just want to double check which... Well, we're going to just take our little thingy here a minute, and we're going to zoom around. Now, which ones were we going to leave? I think I was going to cut that tall tree down there, and we were going to leave a few of these here, just in behind here, because there was no need to take them out. Or was I going to leave that whole patch? I'm sort of thinking if I was to take that tree out there, take that one out, and then we cut round through here, I can leave a bunch of trees here, just so that we've got some trees left behind. I don't really know. I want to take that one out there anyway. We get that one out there, and we can go and cut down the rest of the trees, and then we can always come back here and make a decision on this some other time. We don't have to do it immediately. We can just get that one out there. Move that over that way like that. Chop this down a little bit. And then I can start working back through some of these others. It's not like we've got a shortage of things to cut right now. Alright, I got a whole load of these over here. I want to try and just work my way back through now and take out all of the trees that we're going to remove. Rather than like doing just a few and working in long lines, I just want to work through and take every single thing out that we're going to remove, all in one big long go. So it's just, once I get to the other end of this run, I've done all the trees. That's it, it's finished, I don't need to worry about it. It's all over. So there's one right there. Hang on, I want to bring you back over. There's another one over here that I want to get. And there's another one over beside us as well. See? It's very, very difficult to... It's always very difficult to judge, isn't it? Didn't actually want to do that. Bring you in a little bit. Let's not try and chop it too... My problem is that I always try to get it as low to the ground as I possibly can, and that doesn't necessarily work out very well for us, does it? And I'm thinking that I probably shouldn't be doing it. I mean, I don't know. Is that something that happens in real life with these harvesters? I would have thought, considering I've done chainsaw work before, and with a chainsaw, you do not cut the thing right down as close to the ground as you can possibly get, because what you end up doing is catching stones with a chainsaw. You don't want to do that. Right, we chop the tip off there, and it gets rid of the rest of it. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to chop it all off. You keep it up like a foot and a half above the ground. I mean, it does depend on the size of the tree, but you're very likely to get small stones in the tree stump if you cut down too low. So I'm assuming that those small stones will also cause problems for a tree harvester's saw blade as well as anybody else's saw blade. That tree was not supposed to do that. Right, it absolutely was not supposed to do that. Let's see if we can move it over this way a bit then. It's kind of falling the right way, but kind of not. We got 1 hour before bedtime. 8 o'clock we have to stop. I do try to get things stopped before 8 o'clock. I know that we have occasionally worked a little bit later, but I do want to... You know, that rule that we said at the beginning, where we have to stop at 8 o'clock, I do, for the most part, want to keep that rule intact. I don't really want to be working past 8 o'clock, so that we get our 11-hour break. You know, it's important to have enough breaks. Unless you're, like, really, really pressed for something, it is, like, you know, maybe sometimes... Doing that the wrong way. Maybe sometimes you've got planting or something like that needs to be done. Yes, that's quite an important job that you do need to focus on. I did say I was going to go and get the planter, didn't I? And get that one back. And instead, I'm over here chopping trees down. Maybe we should go and get the planter. We'll do that in a second. We'll go and buy the planter. I'll cut one more tree down just for a second there. And then we can go and get that planter. At least get it loaded up. And then we can worry about... There we go. Bring that one in and lower down like that. Right, yeah, we'll go and get the planter. We can at least get it loaded up on the lorry, and then we're ready to roll. Like that. There. See? It's facing the wrong way. Now, I can't actually turn that one. I don't think I can. No, the game doesn't allow us to turn this one once you cut the tree. As soon as you cut the tree down, that's it. You just kind of got to let the thing flop around on the ground, which is not quite so helpful. Let me... I know that we've got that one there. Right, we've got... Oh, he's done the short runs this time. He did the short runs over the other side of the stone. I'll let him just carry on doing the long runs up here. The cultivator is doing a wonderful job down through there as well. We are going to have to refill this fertilizer spinner before we're finished. He's not going to finish doing all of it. But he is actually... He's coming along quite nicely here now. Right, if we go on to here, we'll get rid of the lime bit. See? He's doing an absolutely wonderful job. Right, I'm very pleased with that. I'll let him go. And you down here, you're leaving tiny little patches. Honestly, I don't think those matter. We do have to try to train ourselves out of caring about those. Much as it does pain me to do so, I really don't like skipping those bits. Planters, that's the one that we want. Now, I'm actually thinking that this lemkin is one that I've never used before. I've used the Vadestad, I've used that a few times for different jobs, and then the big stuff, we're not interested in the big stuff this time. We could go with the mod, we could go with that Coon planter right there. That would be one serious possibility. Only problem with that one, 1204, it's not a very big, like, capacity on it. I like the lemkin. Right, it's 2,000 litres on here. An additional tank to increase the capacity of the tools. That only takes fertiliser. That one there, 6 metres wide, that only takes seed. It takes 600 litres. So you have a fertiliser tank that's added on. That goes on the front of the tractor, I'm assuming. And then that one goes on the back, and you can plant corn right there. So we want to buy these two. Total of $34,000, which is actually a reasonable price as well. I think that's pretty good. And a 6-meter drill is nice. I like the fact that we've got a 6-meter drill on this. So we will buy that one for $26,000. And then we will also buy that one there for $8,000. And looking at this, yes, that does go... Pretty sure that goes on the front of the tractor. I'm assuming it does, looking at like the way that the casters are, and then you've got lights along the front of the thing as well. So it looks like it does go onto the front. There's a front-mounted bit that goes on there. That's excellent. So let's get you. Do I want to get you yet? I think I can fold it up. Let's jump into you first. Oh, the other thing that I want to do is I just need to do this to make a note, and I'll add the money in next time so that we've got it ready, and then we'll buy it. $68,000. I need $68,000 so that I can get that tanker, and we're going to be doing it so that the dairy owns the tanker, not us, so we will simply be using the tanker to represent the merchant coming and collecting the milk. We will not be using it for anything else. It will not be allowed to be used for anything else. It will just be the merchant collecting the milk, and that is all. We will probably just put this truck over there and use this truck to do it rather than any other trucks. Just to keep it nice and simple, because this is not our truck either. This is used purely 100% for delivery. So, you know, maybe this is also shared with a dairy, something like that. And they do deliveries and they use the dairy for it. The two of them tied in together. That would actually make sense. Right? That would actually make sense to do something like that. Have the dairy and the other working in close proximity to each other. So I will hook you up like this, and then I'm going to need to fold this one up. I'm assuming it folds. Those fold. It does fold. Excellent. Now, can I... It does appear that... Yes, okay, that's excellent. I can lower that one down, and I can fold it, and then I can lower it down and unhitch. So that's going to work absolutely beautifully for us. We're going to bring you back up onto here. Let's put some lights on, shall we? We want to see what we're doing. Bring you back up to there. It's about as far back as we want to go. We don't really want to go any further than that. Then we will get this one hooked up. Run round over to here. Get you hooked on as well. I've only got 5% of the fertilizer tank left. So I'll hook that one on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this onto that trailer. I'm not going to hitch it on yet. We will jump back over to the fertilizer spinner and we will take that one back to the yard so that that one can be reloaded. And then this will be delivered tomorrow. I'm thinking that we will actually skip the night before we do the delivery for this. Right, that will sit onto there like that. Helper C has stopped working unexpectedly. Tank is empty. It's not very unexpected. Put you back there. And then we can jump over this way. Right. Apparently you are unexpectedly empty. It's not unexpected. We've got a little bit of fertilizer. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. We've got a little bit of fertilizer left to apply. Not a great deal. I'll tell you what, let's actually just have a quick look in here. Little stripes left on there from where it's not quite applied, neat and tidy. We're going to need to skip the night and do the rest of the fertilizer in the morning, I think. I don't think we've got time to actually complete the fertilizer this evening. We may have. I'm going to take it straight up to the big stone so that we get the big patch done up there to start with at least. Right, we'll go and do that bit first, and then we can worry about skipping the night after we've done that. We're actually running close to the end of our episode now, so we'll have time to get this one up there. So load that one up there like that. And let's go. We get this one up here, and we get this one started. And then that tractor, he's doing an absolutely wonderful job down there. I don't need to worry about that one. So all I got to do is get this one here up to the top. We've got those individual lines right there that haven't quite been covered. I'm not going to bother going over those again. That's just the really, really steep land. We'll just accept that that is kind of written off as a loss, essentially. We'll just write that off as a loss. I'll just come up here. Spread a little bit out on that edge, like that. There, and then I want to get up to that point right there, and then press H on here. And he's away across there without... He's not... Nope, it's not leaving any gap. I can still see what it's doing and we should be able to fill in all of that bit as well. So delivery will be done in the morning with our new machine, and then we'll have that one in the yard and we can start planting as soon as the cultivating is finished in the morning as well. We're going to need... Yeah, he's not going to finish the field tonight. That's absolutely fine as well. I don't mind if he doesn't finish the field tonight. We can work around that. What are you doing over here? Are you going to back up? Yes, you're going to back up, turn round. You're doing absolutely fine on there. We've got a little bit over here that we need to tidy up, and we've got a little bit over there that we just want to finish as well. And then there's those bits there. That's just from where the steep land is, isn't it? And there's nothing else on there that we need to concern ourselves with. That's it. That is it. We can finish all of this in the morning. Well, we'll finish this bit of fertilizer just before we have to go to bed, or will we? You know, I don't think we will. I think we're actually going to have to stop. We're going to have to put a stop to this one as well. But right now, we are going to go because I have run out of time for this episode. So if you've enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.